and welcome to This Thing Called Life, a podcast dedicated to sharing stories of giving, kindness, compassion, and humanity. Your host, Andy Johnson, will guide you through powerful stories of organ, tissue, and eye donation from individuals, families, and healthcare teams whose experiences will inspire you. Every act of giving, no matter how small, has the potential to change a life. We're so glad you're here. Now, let's dive into the show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to This Thing Called Life. I'm your host, Andy Johnson. Thank you for joining me as we talk about the power of organ, tissue, and eye donation, and just have really great conversations with people who are voices of hope in our community. I have an amazing guest with me today. He is a powerhouse on the football field. He is the defender of the best quarterback in the NFL, keeps him safe. I have Mr. Orlando Brown Jr. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm very appreciative.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
We are so excited. First, congratulations on your being with us for at least 2 more years. That's amazing.
It is. It's really special. Cincinnati is a special place. It's a really special city. So I just, I enjoy the people here. I enjoy, the foundation I've been able to lay the community. It makes a lot of sense for me from a lifestyle standpoint outside of football as well. So
great.
Very thankful.
I'll never forget. I still have the visual when you got off the plane and you had your
foxtail.
Now tell us about what is the foxtail symbolize for you?
It symbolizes a few different things. I think for me, I started wearing it in college. Good things started happening. I earned a starting role. I feel like girls started liking me. I was cool. I don't know. It was like a cool. It's just been a part of me since. I don't know. It's like a good luck charm in a sense. So I started wearing it in college, going into my freshman year. I've had this one since 2015.
How many foxtails do you have?
I probably got about 13, but they're all older though. Like they're older. Like I've had them for a long time. So I got different colors, like white and brown and black and white. I got a coyote tail.
Where does one purchase a coyote or foxtail?
There's some woman on eBay, and she is from Montana.
Okay.
I don't know if she has some real ones. This is a $4 foxtail. I mean, it's lasted me almost 11 years.
Really?
So yeah. eBay, who I forgot her name, but she lives in Montana. So.
Oh my goodness. So have you when did you start playing football?
Man, like my football story is really unique. My dad played in the NFL for 13 years, and he didn't start playing until he was in 11th grade in high school. And his biggest thing for me and my siblings were he didn't want us playing sports. He didn't want us to play football, and so I didn't do anything as a kid. Like I was the kid where I got out of school, I went home. I watched Monday Night Raw. I watched Friday Night SmackDown. I played the video game. I was in the pool in the summers. Like I didn't play sports, and I played tuba. I played the tuba.
The tuba?
Yeah, I played the tuba. Like majority of elementary, all of middle school. But I didn't start playing football until 8th grade, and I had to call him crying. I'm like, Dad, I'm the biggest kid in school. Like, I mean, at this point, everybody's making fun of me. I've always loved football. Because I couldn't play it, I read about it. I went to all the games. I would always go to the practices. I kept up with it. So I've always had a real passion for the game of football, but he would not let me play.
So why was that?
Yeah, well, for him, he had a lot of... Like football is a dark sport in a way, and I've been fortunate that my path to get here, I was drafted and I've had better opportunity than he did. He was undrafted. He went to a HBCU.
Oh, which one?
South Carolina State.
That's where my dad went.
Oh wow, yeah.
And played football.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Yeah.
Oh man, that's very cool.
So he loves South Carolina State, but
so does my dad.
Yeah, but it made his role was different, and so his was a lot harder. And
And he didn't want that
He
for
didn't
his
want that
children.
for us, and me, and so he just didn't push it on us. I remember my mom snuck me on a team when I was in second grade. Yeah, I played in two football games, probably did 3 practices. He was so
And
mad.
then he found out and
Yeah.
said, "No
Oh yeah.
way."
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I didn't play football organized till 8th grade. So 13
Wow.
years old.
And I have to imagine you were probably the
Yeah,
biggest kid in your class,
I was.
and the coaches probably are like salivating,
Oh
like, "We
yeah.
gotta get him out here."
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, "No, I can't do it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go play tuba."
Yeah, no, literally, that was me.
Oh my
that
god.
was no, that was actually me.
So when you started and dad said, "Okay," what was that like for what do you think that was like for him being able to see and
Yeah,
see you in action? And then did he say, "I see something special in my son"?
yeah. He started working with me right away. So, his biggest thing too at that point in time, at 13 years old, was he wanted me to make a commitment
Mhm.
to something. If it wasn't going to be football, it was going to be to something. And it was all in and saying, "Hey, look, this is how we're going to go to college. We're going to the NFL. We're going to do this in the NFL for a long time," like a real commitment at
Yeah.
13 years old. And so
Wow.
he worked with me. We spent a lot of time even at the Ravens facility because he worked with the other offensive linemen and was still heavily involved in pro sports. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of time spent, like a
Wow.
lot of time spent, like right away. But I was, what, 6'4", probably 450 pounds at 13. Yeah.
450
Oh yeah.
pounds.
Yeah. I was huge. I told you I didn't do nothing. I mean, I
Oh,
was in the house.
wow.
I was eating
I was gonna
cereal.
say you
Yeah, I
just
was eating cereal at 7 a.m. Because I pulled an all nighter and then wake up at 2 p.m. eating cereal. That was that kid.
oh my
Yeah,
goodness. So your father played how many years?
13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 93 to '06.
Okay,
Yeah,
so was that Brian Billick? Was that the head
he
coach at
called
the
Brian
time?
Billick. Yes, he did. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. You know
Wow.
Brian Billick at all? Yeah.
I'm a NFL fan, so
Yeah. So
I know, and
Yeah.
he was one of my favorite coaches during that time. I just
Yeah.
really liked him.
He's a good dude, yeah. My dad
Yeah.
used to call him Big Bird because he
Big Bird.
like he like Sesame Street, like because Brian Billick is 6'8", 6'7".
Is
Like,
he
oh
really?
yeah, Brian Billick's a big dude.
Oh,
Like,
I didn't
yeah,
realize
you would think
that.
he's Larry Bird if you didn't know. Like, he's a big dude.
Wow.
Like, you get up on him, it's like, whoa. I remember thinking of that as a kid, seeing him.
And you said O lineman or D
He
line?
was an offensive lineman. Yeah,
Offensive.
he played right tackle.
And you
I
play
played left tackle.
Oh my
Yeah, yeah,
goodness.
yeah. But I got drafted in Baltimore, and I mean, I was a right tackle, so I pretty much followed in his footsteps in
You
that way
did.
for my first 2 years there. Where I mean, I was same number, same position. Like,
Right.
yeah, I would watch my dad's tape and just try to mimic a lot of his movements because
Mhm.
obviously I can. I mean, it's closest I think I got to something comparable to myself.
That's a great teacher.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, as you said, there is that dark side
Yep.
of the NFL,
Mhm.
and your father became ill,
Yep.
um, diagnosed with diabetes.
Well, he wasn't, and that's the unique situation for him is, he wasn't diagnosed, and I wish that he was
Right.
because we would have been able to catch it. And so, my both of my grandparents both passed of some type of diabetic complication
Mhm.
as well. But my dad's situation was really unique because he had the flu and he wasn't he didn't go to the doctors and things like that. Like,
Mhm.
and if you know anything about Southern Black culture,
I do.
Southern Black culture isn't, you know, the hospitals and doctors and
Mhm.
medicine. It's more about remedies and, things like that. And so,
Rub this on
yeah,
there
exactly. Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. that's my family. And so
Yep.
they,
Because there's a distrust of the medical
yeah.
system, especially
Oh, yeah.
in in the South and being black. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's the reality.
Yep. Yeah. And a lot of my family is from McCormick County, South Carolina, Plum Branch, South Carolina, to be specific. The city, I mean, it is 108 people in this town. You
Wow.
know what I mean? I've had land there since, think that they sold it to us in 1922. Like
And it's still in your
it's still in
family?
my family, yeah. But it's a small town. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one church, it's one grocery store, it's a gas station with one pump. They sell one type of cigarettes.
I have never heard of
Like,
that
yeah,
town.
it's a real small town.
My
And
family's from Greenville,
oh,
so
okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So you know a little something, yeah, you know a
Yeah.
little something. But yeah, so he was unaware. He was sick at the time. He had the flu,
Okay.
and I feel like he was drinking a lot of orange juice, and
Mm.
he had been sick for a while because he had so much weight loss in a span of 2 months,
So something was
and
going
yeah,
on.
something was going on, and but he always worked out hard, and I thought it was just him. Having a turn from a physical standpoint, but I should have known. He lost a lot of muscle mass too, during
Mm.
those 2 months. But he passed away of ketoacidosis, and it was sudden. I mean, we didn't know. I just remember being at school one day and trying to call him and no answer. You know what I mean? And
Oh my goodness.
it was very very heartbreaking because my youngest brother, not my youngest brother, my brother that's a year younger than me, when he was 8 years old, I was 9 years old. He was diagnosed with type 1, and so, I mean, we experienced that for
Wow.
7 years up until the point where my dad passed away. So it's been type 1 has been heavy in my family and my life. You know what I mean?
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah.
goodness. So how old were you when your father passed away?
I was 15. Yeah, I was 15.
Wow, that had to be an incredible
Oh yeah. No, it was.
loss and void.
It was. It was. Yeah. I think for me, um, he always spoke of it in a weird way, and so he always talked about being able to cope with things because he lost his mom. He probably was 2004, so he probably was, what's that, 34 years old when he
Mm-hmm.
lost when
Mm-hmm.
I lost my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And he just always talked about being able to cope and
Mm-hmm.
finding healthy ways to cope. And so for me, it was football. I was able to
Mm-hmm.
pour into that. And I had
Mm-hmm.
my mom, I had my brothers, so I had a good foundation of love and people close to me as well. But he always spoke to me about it. And it was
Right.
just it was really hard to deal with, and even to this day, it sucks, it's hard.
Yeah.
But I think it gives me the opportunity to be able to do things like this,
Mm-hmm.
because I learned a lot from that one loss, about myself and about my life, and even things that I want to make sure that I'm up to date on. And something I did during my time in Kansas City was I went and I got checked for the antibodies of type 1. Now you
Right.
can do like a pretrial and
Yep.
see if you have it or you don't have it, or if you're going to get it or you don't are gonna
Mm-hmm.
get it. And I'm thankful I don't have it and none of my boys do. But
Oh, good.
yeah, but
You make a really, really good point because you're talking about the generations in your family that have been impacted
yeah,
by this disease. And, you know, a lot of what we focus on is how do we get in front of these diseases?
hmm
Let's talk about prevention and
hmm
early detection and the importance of if you don't feel good, you need to go see your doctor. And so
yeah,
it seems like you are kind of changing the trajectory, if you will, of kind of not repeating the same patterns
yeah,
as your dad,
yep,
so that you can be here, be here for your family and your children and all the things.
oh yeah,
And I think that's the first step, right? Like you're changing that narrative.
it is it's so important because like you said, I experiencing it firsthand. I always want to make sure that uh somebody's able to learn from my mistakes
Hmm.
and or my family's mistakes, and that's so important. It's so
Right.
important to be able to get ahead of it. It's so important to be able to like I said, sit here with you and tell you, hey, I don't have the antibodies, so
Right.
I don't necessarily have to worry about it, and nor
Hmm.
do my boys. And it's a lot of good that comes from that. My brother
Right.
was diagnosed. It's actually, it's kind of sad because we joke about it now, but when my brother was diagnosed at 8 years old, we were driving back up from Florida,
Hmm.
and he had always had issues like peeing in the bed. So
Mm.
like I
Hmm.
slept on the bottom bunk, he slept on the top bunk.
Oh,
So like
you
I mean, I can't tell
poor
you
guy.
at least two times, in 6 years. I'm like I woke up like to drops. I'm like what the fuck? what's going on. So we're traveling from Florida, and we had gone down to see my mom's mom, my grandmother, and we're driving back up to Baltimore from Florida, long drive, and my
Mm,
brother's sitting in the middle seat, and there was, 3 times on that trip that he cramped up. He took a nap and ended up peeing on himself. It was
right.
so like we just kind of had a feeling. And when we got back immediately, took him to the hospital, and he was diagnosed with type 1.
Mm,
But you know, I- with the science and the way things are now,
mm-hmm,
there's probably some type of prevention that we
mm-hmm.
could have took to help make sure that didn't happen.
Right. And
hmm
what's your brother's name?
Justin,
How's
yeah,
Justin doing?
yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good. He's
Good.
what is it, 29. He's 28 now, so he'll be
Okay.
29 this year, later this year. But he's 28 now, and he's learned a lot. He's learned how to cope. He's
Mm-hmm.
learned how to make the most of it. I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes from my experience with him and other type ones that I've been around is there are the struggles of just the realization. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's hard to be able to have to be in some of those moments and take a
Sure.
step back and account for carbs or understand.
Yes. Well, and especially when you're at the kind of, you're just you're young
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
think you're
Yeah,
invincible and you're not trying to be mindful of diet and
yeah,
like you want to have some fun. And so
exactly.
there's a balance
Yeah,
there. And I would imagine that's got to be
yeah.
tough at
Oh yeah,
times.
for sure.
But I think it's what I really admire, Orlando, is that again, down south, they're like, especially like our parents and our parents, like they didn't talk about these things,
Oh no.
right? They just kept going because
Yeah,
that's just what they did.
yeah.
And I feel like having these kind of conversations to really and normalizing these conversations, this is what I think will help save people and allow generations within families to just continue to thrive because it's about generational health,
Oh, for sure.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is a really great step in creating that. So I really appreciate, you just sharing your story.
Of course.
So this is really become a passion for you in a lot of ways. And now you're a strong advocate
hmm
for type 1 diabetes. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, yeah, I am. I just from experiences with my family, that I've touched on, from experiences personally that I
Hmm.
touched on, haven't touched on, it's given me a lot of perspective
Hmm.
on what other friends of type 1 diabetics have experienced or would experience, other brothers, other sons or grandsons or nieces and nephews. And I want to be able to pour into those people, give those people the opportunity to understand that they're not alone. And,
Hmm.
I always describe it as lighting somebody else's candle. I've spent a lot of time, I feel like, all over the U.S. I've gone to the Senate, talked about making insulin more affordable. I've gone to uh, different children mercies hospitals
Hmm.
across the U.S. and work with them on finding a cure. I've done the trial net, which is the preventative version of type 1, just making sure that you don't have the antibodies.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've done a lot of different things, and for me, it's just all about people understanding that they're not alone in this. And I
Right.
saw how the effects that it had on my mom
Hmm.
directly. Having to
Hmm.
stay up at night, and the worries of my brother's sugar levels, and
Right.
same thing. And one of my best friends, Mark Andrews, that plays in Baltimore, he's
Hmm.
type 1,
Mm.
and just the experiences that I've had with him in our adulthood in college,
Hmm.
where we be in the huddle in football and he's tired, or our coach
Right.
think he's tired, and it's like, hey, Mark, push through. But in reality, his sugar's low. It's 100
Right.
degrees out here, and he hasn't eaten all
Right.
day. So,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
So you're an ambassador for Breakthrough.
Breakthrough T1D.
Okay.
Yes, yep.
So talk about your role in as an ambassador.
Yeah, no, it's like it's crazy how it like just kind of happened. Uh, I feel like one day they just start calling me ambassador, but it's like I yeah, I've been working with them. I mean, I'm not joking. Since I was a little kid, and
Okay.
I mean, we can't. I guess we can't really say it, but I'm gonna say it. JDRF is what they once were called.
Right.
Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund. That's what
Yep.
they went by for the longest.
Yep.
And we would go on these walks
Yes,
when
I
I was,
remember the
yeah,
walks went on across the country.
yes,
Yep.
yeah. So I would go on these walks. Like when we lived in Baltimore, my brother was just diagnosed. We'd go on these walks. They would
Yep.
have trick or treating events and all this. So I've always worked with them to some capacity,
You've
even
always
before.
been an
Yeah,
ambassador.
yeah, that's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. So, yeah, I just kind of slipped into that role as I've gained more notoriety and more experience, and we've grown just a great relationship over the last, man, probably 6 or 7 years.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah,
So I see you have some artwork there, some tattoos, look very interesting. What was your first tattoo?
yeah. It's actually I've got 9/23/11 right here. It's in 11/12/70, which is the day my dad was born, the day he passed. And
Wow.
yeah, it's ironic because 9/23 is the day my brother that was diagnosed with type 1. It's his birthday. So
Wow.
yeah, he passed away on his birthday, and
Um,
so it's always a interesting, day in our family. We still celebrate life for
hmm
both, but that day is forever. Like just, I mean, embedded in me. Yeah.
what's your most significant, meaningful tattoo?
Man, I've got a portrait of my grandfather on my right arm. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that means a lot to me. I learned a lot from him.
yeah.
Is my dad's dad. He's very influential on me, and I just so much knowledge and information I was able to take from him, and I feel like I carry a lot of his mannerisms, but he was very influential on me. It's probably my favorite piece I got.
Wow. How
Yeah.
many tattoos do you have?
I just my these two on my hand. I don't know how many tattoos. I probably got probably close to 40 to 50 hours of work though on my
Oh,
arms. So
wow.
yeah, yeah, a lot of
Well,
detail
there's a
work.
lot of real estate there to work
It
with.
is,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, that's funny. Yeah, that's funny.
oh my goodness. So
Yeah,
is it,
yeah. The time is now, so I'm like,
that's it.
yeah,
Okay.
big procrastinator. I try to be better about this. So this is like a message to myself. I
Okay.
got that a few years ago. I owe it to myself to be a great friend, to be a great brother, to be a great teammate, be a great son. So just a message to
Wow.
myself to, just keep that mentality.
Yeah.
Yep.
How would your teammates describe you?
Man, um, they definitely know I'm very vocal. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
very like very vocal, especially in the moment on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm the same guy, same person every day. I pride myself on that. That's like my mindset. No matter what we going through or I'm going through, I'm be the
Mm-hmm.
same guy. Um, yeah, they say I'm a great leader. I'm vocal. They say I'm very caring. I would imagine. So
I could
yeah,
see that.
yeah.
But you also seem like you're a lot of fun too.
I am. Yeah, yeah. Yes, I am. Yeah, yeah,
So I'm not sure if you've heard, but Willie Anderson
yeah, yeah.
recently received
Mm-hmm.
a kidney transplant. His girlfriend
Oh wow.
was his living
Oh,
kidney donor. Like
oh
she
wow.
donated to him, as he has been suffering from diabetes as well. And
Mm.
he was a lineman for the Cincinnati
Oh yeah.
Bengals. I think he was inducted into the Ring of Honor
Yeah.
recently.
Mm.
But he talked about just like the different medications that an athlete has to take just to prevent pain. And like, I think he talked about like the amount of ibuprofen that they were given, and now he
Yeah.
feels like that contributed. So my question for you is kind of, do you kind of being 2026, you're a new type of lineman.
Yeah.
Do you take that kind of like just feedback and kind of understanding just as you're kind of trying to take, care of your health
Mm.
for life after football?
Yeah, yeah, big time. So I hired last season was my first year hiring a full time nutritionist,
Oh,
and I
good.
hired my own full time nutritionist. She's been a lot of help for me.
Okay.
Because I definitely was somebody that was using Toradol or
Yes, that's the other
ibuprofen,
one he mentioned.
yeah, or diclofenac, or
Mhm.
not every day, but
Right.
like on game day
Right.
or 2 times in training camp. And I mean,
Mhm.
even just 2 times in a 30-day span is hard on your body.
Mhm.
And I learned that pretty quickly. And so I try to do my best keeping my inflammation down. I've done this food test, and my nutritionist does this food test where she's able to tell you um, what foods you can and can't eat that inflame your body.
I've heard
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. So like anything dairy while I drink my matcha, anything dairy, anything
That's not good.
I know,
Does
carrots, beets,
Really?
yeah, those are like inflammation markers for me. Oats and wheat, anything of those lines like create
Yeah.
inflammation in my body. And I've I've learned those kind of things, and so I've trying to be as preventative as possible because Willie Anderson isn't the only person I know
Right.
like that. I've had um one of my dad's great teammates who was his pallbearer passed away of kidney issues, and
Oh,
yeah,
really?
he was an offensive lineman for many years in the league, and he played for the Cleveland Browns and the Denver Broncos and the Ravens,
Oh.
and ton of experience, great man. Rest his soul. Tony Jones was his name,
Oh,
but
wow.
um yeah, a lot of retired football players from that time period,
Mhm.
that was how they got by. And
Yep.
those practices were so intense.
Mhm.
You see, I mean, just what they had to go through was so different than
Mhm.
like even in 2010, like what those guys experienced. I'm glad I don't have to experience that,
Right.
because
Right.
my career, my body, the work output is very, very much different.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, you're like giving yourself longevity,
Yeah.
right? And that's what's so important. And you're right. Back then that they just were trying to get through and they're
Yeah.
doing whatever and just didn't have probably the modern science that we have
Yeah.
now to be able to do these things.
Yeah.
So once you kind of made the decision to pursue football, um, and I'm sure your dad at first may have not been happy about it, but then
Yeah.
he kind of embraced it and started working with you. And just to see the success that you have realized over your
Mm.
career, what do you think your dad would say?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question because I like knowing him. He would always strive me to be better.
Hmm.
So I do think he would be proud of me. There would definitely still be this burning desire in him and his personality as who he was to continue to push me forward. And so I do know for a fact he would be proud of me because there is numerous of things I've been able to accomplish that we set out when I was 13 before I touched the field or started or even played in middle school, like being an All-American in college or winning a Super Bowl in the NFL or being a Pro Bowler in the
Right.
NFL or having an MVP quarterback in the NFL. And all of these different things that I've been able to be a part of that he was fighting forever. I mean, he played 13 years in the NFL, and
Hmm.
he probably had 3 playoff wins.
Wow.
I got 3 playoff wins in a season. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
Hmm.
I've been very fortunate, and I know he would be proud of me. I know he would be very happy for how far how far I've come, how far my career has come as well.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Um, so what's it like being like the protector of Joe Burrow?
I love it. I love it. It's a lot of fun. The thing about like sports and professional sports is everything you kind of do on this level comes with some kind of pressure,
Yes.
some kind of label. I love it though. I really do. It's a role I've always carried, and I learned a lot from my situation in college. I blocked for Baker Mayfield.
You
I
did?
did it at Oklahoma, and he was Heisman and
Yep.
somewhat the face of college football. And so I had a
Yep.
lot of responsibility then at 19 years old and going into to my rookie year in the NFL. I blocked for Lamar Jackson,
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
blocking for Pat Mahomes, and then I'm blocking for Joe. And I've had a lot of consistency at the quarterback position and a lot of special players that come with their own pressure, and it puts pressure
Yes.
on us to do our job up front. But I love it. Joe is a great dude. He's such
Yeah.
a hard worker. His attention to detail is
Seems very
awesome. He
focused
is
and
very
very locked
focused.
in.
Yeah, that makes my job easier. It
Yeah.
makes my job a lot easier being able to know that.
Yeah.
And the one unique part about doing what I do is I got to be able to understand what he's seeing and feeling.
Mm.
And that takes some time. I got to sit down with this guy. When I first got here, I had to really sit down with him and talk about his mindset and
Mm-hmm.
mentality. And
Mm-hmm.
for example, there is certain situations I could tell you he's going to be a little bit deeper. Like
Mm-hmm.
if it's third down and
Mm-hmm.
the game's on the line and we got to get a first down, let's just say it's 3rd and 11
Mm-hmm.
and we're down by 3 points and we got to get a first down. I know that he's going to be 1 to 2 yards deeper in his drop because he's looking to take a little bit of a chance or
Wow.
extend the play. So
Right.
I gotta customize my game to that and understand
Wow.
that because he's a little bit deeper, I gotta be a little bit quicker.
Right.
I gotta
Right.
get to the spot and I gotta be able to block my guy maybe a second and a half longer. And when I say pressure, it's that kind of stuff that comes
Yeah.
with it. A lot of people don't
I
even.
can't even
Yeah,
imagine.
it's a
And you
lot.
got to be super in tune,
Hmm.
right?
Oh yeah,
Like that.
yeah,
That's so interesting.
yeah. I love it though. I love it.
So, did you get a samurai sword?
I did.
So,
Yeah, yeah, I did.
I thought
Yeah,
that was so funny
yeah,
when he said he gave everybody a samurai sword on the
yeah.
O line.
I did.
So, is it like sitting somewhere prominently
Yeah.
at your house?
It is you. I got a nice bar in my basement, and it's like propped up in my bar in my basement. It's really
Nice.
nice. Uh, no, it's super cool. It came with a story. I lost the story though. He
Oh,
labeled them 1 through 15, with number one being the rarest, and so I'm the second oldest in the
oh,
room, second oldest starter in the
okay.
room, and so Ted Karras got number one. I
Yeah.
got number two sword, and I mean, it's beautiful. It's really cool.
Oh, I
Like you could
bet.
see like the whole marks and I was the first guy to get mine in a locker room. So so I got the sword and I mean I cut everything from apples to water bottles. I like this thing is crazy. Like you never would imagine what a samurai sword could do. It's really cool.
Oh my gosh. And then am I recalling, was it fossils? Was that the
Fossils.
gift?
That was
Okay,
this
this
year. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, he got us that with like I couldn't believe. You never know with this guy. Like you just never know. He's all about gifting something he wants. So like he wanted a samurai sword, right? So he got everybody samurai swords. And this year he wanted fossils, so he got everybody fossils. And you just never know what to expect when you hear fossils. So we walk into his pool house at his house, and he's got all of these cave bear heads and a
Oh my goodness.
T-Rex tooth and raptor footprint casings and I mean all kind of crazy stuff. And guys picked out what they wanted. I chose a cave bear. I got a
Okay.
cave bear. I mean
A cave bear.
this thing is huge. It's really big. Yeah, no, it's really big. It's huge.
I can't even
Yeah, so I got a
imagine.
cave bear skull is what I got.
Oh my gosh. So I want to ask you, you know, obviously what we do with Network for Hope
Hmm.
is, we're like a bridge between life and legacy,
Yeah.
right? And so we facilitate all of the organ donation,
Hmm.
and the organ that's most in need is kidneys,
Yeah.
and the people that of our community that need the most are Black Americans
Yeah.
that are most need because of diseases such as diabetes and hypertension. Um, what would you say to someone who, like, we're always trying to educate people about the importance of registering to be a donor and why
Yeah.
that matters? What would you say to someone who um, is kind of on the fence about that decision?
Yeah, it's unique because it's one of those things I feel like in our community we look at it and we say, "Oh man, I'm not worried about it until it happens to
Until it
you."
happens.
And when it happens to you or someone close to you, it's a little gut wrenching, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so then you have these unique feelings about how to approach it
Mm-hmm.
and letting others know that hey, mom may need a kidney, or uncle may need a kidney, or a close family friend.
Right.
And to me, based off my experiences, I just would tell others in our community that it's okay to
Mm-hmm.
ask for help. It's okay
Yeah.
to educate yourself, to get
Yes.
ahead of it, because the last thing you want to do is to have a family member end up in that situation, or someone close to you and a loved one, and not and be scrambling,
Mm-hmm.
looking for answers.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So we've talked a lot about generational health, and I think we've done a good job of kind of just showing kind of the progression of like the generations before us, kind of not talking about, you know, things that were impacting them from a health perspective, because that could be perceived as weakness or what have you, but kind of moving on to being preventative, proactive as you are.
Mhm.
What would be your advice to future generations?
Yeah. Just be comfortable being vulnerable. Be comfortable asking the right questions. Be comfortable reaching out to those that you may not even necessarily know
Mm-hmm.
that are going through it. I remember when my brother was diagnosed with type 1 and being in the hospital with him. There was a floor with probably four other kids that were diagnosed type 1. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember asking like the parents, the symptoms or how they plan to treat it. And I was 9 years
I
old at the time.
know.
Yeah, yeah. So,
You were advocating for your brother in a way,
yeah, in a
though,
way.
right?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
And you were curious,
Yep.
and I think
Yeah.
that's a great point. I,
Yeah.
you know, I think sometimes when you're in those situations, it could be intimidating,
Hmm.
and it's like we must save us. So
Yeah.
we have to advocate,
Yeah.
and ask the tough questions. And it's okay if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I love that you said, be vulnerable.
Hmm.
I think that's so important.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Well, Orlando Brown Jr.,
Yep.
it has been an absolute pleasure
Yes,
just
ma'am.
talking with you. And I like to dedicate this episode to your dad.
Thank you.
And I
Yeah.
know that he is watching over you and your family,
Thank
and
you.
you're just going to continue to do great things and be a blessing to the community. And you've been doing that across the country and all the
Yes, ma'am.
places you've been. You
Thank you.
definitely are making an impact. And so we're glad that you're here with us in Cincinnati.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So,
I'm happy to be here.
thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, as we close our show today, I just want to remind you that there are more than 100,000 people who are waiting for that life saving gift. It could be someone in your community, it could be someone in your family, but those people need us. And the way that we can help is by educating ourselves about organ donation. You can do that at networkforhope.org. You can also, at this moment, you can register to be a donor if you go to registerme.org. Because the reality is that today, 13 people will die because that call for an organ didn't come in time. And so you could be their voice of hope. I want to thank you for listening and tuning in, and just want to remind you to please be kind to yourself and to others. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to This Thing Called Life. Remember, every act of giving, no matter how small, has the potential to change a life. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts so you never miss a new episode. We'd truly appreciate it if you could share, like, or leave us a review to help us grow.